Who knocked on my door? This is Dorsey here. Welcome back to the SDSL Off the Track podcast. I was forced to do this intro, but it's an intro that I've had for a long time. I haven't done it in years though. But, anyways, welcome to the podcast. I'm here with the usual two hosts of this podcast, starting off with Lane,
Hello there.
and of course, the Knoxville guy over here. Here's Jeremy.
The greatest intro of all time.
The intro of time, and I don't really have anything with me right now to talk about news because that's Lane's thing, so I'll give it to him now.
Right, so we had Dorsey do that intro only because in the group chat someone pulled it up, and someone did say he has to do it, and in my mind I thought he's got to do it, so we let him do it. So thanks Dorsey for the intro. Now we're kicking off into another news, starting off with NASCAR, and boy did we have a great race this last Monday. So supposedly, and actually no, Speed Weeks was last week. All on Daytona. Truck race was on. I believe it was on Saturday, and then we also had the ARCA race. So we were supposed to have the Cup Series race on Sunday. Actually, no way. We had the truck race on Saturday. We had the ARCA race also on Monday. What other race did we have? Was it Xfinity
Yeah.
or was it?
Yeah, I think Xfinity happened after the Cup race, I
Okay,
believe.
I was good. So truck and ARCA was on Saturday night, which were very late races, I guess. Um, and then Cup Series was supposed to Cup and Xfinity were both supposed to happen on Sunday, but because of the weather on Florida, and just like every other time in Florida, or just about any other event, sports or motorsports related that happens in Florida, there's always gonna have happen to be some sort of weather. And this time it took over Daytona Beach. It rained on Sunday night, so it forced them to move the race over to Monday afternoon, Monday evening. And we'll talk about Daytona, the Cup Series race first, because oh my God, did I actually get a prediction right for once? And that is the number 24. Will it be the Exalta 24 Hendrick Motorsports car winning his first Daytona 500? And I'm gonna say this: I did not really. Your guys's were who again?
Yeah, mine was like the farthest off where I looked at my prediction and because unfortunately didn't watch a lot of the race since I wasn't home. But I looked at the results on Google and I saw the guy that I predicted, Austin Dillon, was negative 56 laps behind. And I believe he finished 37.
Ooh. I picked
But
Candyman
yeah,
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, and I picked Willoughby, and boy, did I get that right. I saw it. I was at work seeing the the race ceremony happening. Like he's going on to victory lane, and once I realized that that was William Byron, I was like, wait a minute, I got it right, which was awesome. Um, but other than that, that is pretty much NASCAR news. They just started their 76th season. Uh, and always like usual, starting off in Daytona. Um, Now we'll also move to WWE. That is for me and Dorsey to talk about here for just a moment. So the next PLE is the Elimination Chamber from Perth, Australia, and for us it is like a early, I would say like early morning, late night, uh, time, because for Dorsey you said it's gonna be like around 4:30, correct?
yes.
And for my time zone, it's gonna be like around 2:30. So honest, so this is the first pay per view or PLE that we're getting international, and we're getting more international PLEs after this one as well, after WrestleMania. Um, so let's talk about Elimination Chamber for a minute. It's just us two. Uh, so we gotta have the men's elimination chamber. That's gonna be, so the winner of that match will go on to face the world heavyweight champion Seth freaking Rollins, and then the women's elimination chamber match will go on to face Rhea Ripley for the women's world heavyweight championship. So who are your two picks here?
Yeah, I'm just going to go over the matches real quick with the competitors in it. We got the men's elimination chamber. The 6 guys that are in it is Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and the United States champion Logan Paul. And I think Drew's winning this. It makes the only sense, even though we will be seeing another rematch between Seth and Drew. But I think it just makes the most sense. What about you, Lane?
For the men's, I do think that Drew McIntyre is the logical reason here. You know, we would have got Punk versus Rollins if they both didn't get injured. Like Rollins can compete, just not now. He's still injured, but Punk is out of the picture. And he said he is
Yeah.
out up. He's out up until the summer, which hurts. But I think Drew McIntyre is the logical choice here. His story going into an elimination chamber is actually working, and it actually makes a lot of sense. He's taking out names of he was well, besides injuring Punk at Royal Rumble, he was also trying to play games with Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. But I, my pick will be Drew. It's just the logical option here. As for the women's, I think it's gonna have to be coming down to Becky Lynch. Also another logical option. Uh, because this last couple of weeks, or if not month, actually, yeah, this last couple of weeks, Bailey chose former Damage Control member Io Sky for the women's championship. Uh, and talking about the other women's championship, Rhea Ripley will have a match at her home country against Nia Jax. Uh, but for the women's chamber match, I do think it's going to be Becky Lynch. What do you think?
Yeah, for the Elimination Chamber, we got Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Raquel Rodriguez. I also have to agree with the Becky Lynch thing. It makes sense. But that's who I think is going to win, who I want to win. I kind of want Liv Morgan because of seems like their character is building her up to a person who just doesn't give a shit. And I think that's funny as hell.
Yeah, hardcore Liv Morgan.
But yeah,
seems like they're trying to go there, but I think they've been trying to go with that character for like the last year or two, and I just don't. Something's not working. There's a few moments, but something's obviously not working, and they got to go back to the drawing board for this one.
yeah, and quick, like what you mentioned, Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. The winner of the Elimination Chamber will face either Mommy or the female version of Goldberg,
or the Rock's
is what a lot of people are saying, or the Rock's cousin. I think this one's an easy Rhea Ripley win. Not easy, but I think it should be Rhea Ripley.
It's obvious. So we'll move on from wrestling over to some MLB because finally they've after us since the last time. The last major baseball game that was played, that was when the Texas Rangers won their World Series. We're back at spring training, and oh my God, did one team already get crushed in its only spring training so far, and that was the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the San Diego Padres, and they beat them 14-1. Yeah, might as well.
Close game.
I think the Padres already out of playoff contend. I think they're just out of the playoffs picture at this point.
Yeah, I would retire. I would just retire right after that.
Yeah. Another thing that's going on too is about the jerseys, and a lot of people are not happy, mostly because Nike's now in control of these. And I have to kind of agree. They're not looking the best. They're not looking very baseball. They're looking more less than baseball. Yeah, that's pretty much it so far. Dodgers looking strong again, only for them to lose in the playoffs come September or October. We'll see. But other than that is as far as news. Well, now moving to we will
before you move on. There's just one more thing for wrestling. I just wanted to was that there is still one more match we need to talk about, which is Judgment Day versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate team championships. Which should be an easy win for the Judgment Day. I don't think there's nothing much to talk about that.
And now we'll move on to some monster trucks. And before we move on to the shows we had this last weekend for week 7, we'll move on. We'll actually talk about the thing that we've previously talked about last week, and it was the fact that Monster Truck Nitro Tour bought Monster Trucks with the Z. Now, there is another thing that everyone started to find out just last night, on Wednesday night. And what is that, Nalfajan?
Well, it is that all the events that were supposed to be by the Monster Truck Z Tour and just the whole website itself was rebranded with Monster X Tour stuff completely. And there's still a lot to be added onto the website. Like they deleted the bio for the Z Tour. They updated the graphics and everything to look more like the Monster X Tour, but still lots to come. But yeah, the Monster Truck Z Tour is no more. They replaced the Z with the X.
That is right. And this is, I believe, Monster X's third return. Because that same tour also got rebranded to the Traxxas Monster Truck Tour. I believe at one point it was also Monster Truck Destruction Tour, which is also the
Yeah,
same
it went.
name. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was the Monster Truck Destruction Tour, and then Traxxas Monster Truck Destruction Tour, and then Traxxas Monster Truck Tour, and then Monster X Tour, and then Monster Truck Nitro Tour. It just had a whole bunch of different rebrands in its history.
Yeah, crazy. You know, a lot of rebrands. We even this name was also on the very same name it also had at one point, which is that uh the arguably the best Monster Truck app game, that is Monster Truck Destruction. Now I'm not saying the best game in general. It won't be up there with BeamNG or Riggs. Um, but Monster X Tour did used to be a name on Monster Truck Destruction, which which was cool until they updated everything for the Traxxas, and then I think now it is just Monster Truck Destruction on the for the banners and stuff. I don't know. I don't have the game. Um, but yeah, Monster X Tour is finally back once again for like the 100th time. Um, but that is that as far as news. Now we'll move on to the shows we had this last weekend. Starting off with the Ram Motorsports Spectacular in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Then we also had Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and Highland Heights, Kentucky. And not only that, they were also over the pond in London, United Kingdom. Then we also had No Limits Monster Trucks in Pikeville, Kentucky, and Billings, Montana. And then we also had the Monsters of Destruction Tour in DuQuoin, Illinois. And then we also had the 2X Monster Trucks Live Tour in Conwood, Alabama. Monster Truck Wars in Kenansville, North Carolina, Levelland, Texas, and then MAP Motorsports Odessa, Texas. And we also had the Nitro Tour in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I don't see. Actually, I believe for this lineup, I don't know if this was same as the last one. Apparently, this is the lineup included Aftershock with Kyle Seasock, Animal House with Faith Freed, Band News Show was fast with Brandon DeRoe, Culture Shock with Daniel Ames, and Temporarily Insane with Richie Asco. And that was all the independent tours we had this last weekend. Later on, we'll move on to the shows we have this upcoming weekend. But as far as that is pretty much it for independent shows. Now we'll move on to the jam from this past weekend. Hold on, before actually we get there, I am starting to notice something here for Saskatoon, Saskatchewan for the Ram Motorsports Spectacular. For Cali Kid, we had Travis Ibarra and Bill Payne. And then for the Napa Auto Parts, it was under Eric Pikinen Jr. That is pretty much still the same lineup, I believe. For Billings, Montana, I believe. Okay, so this for Billings, Montana, this last weekend we didn't. There was a couple of TBA spots for this show. So under Double Trouble, it is Kylie Thurber. For Free Ride, it is Justin Elliott, Geronimo Brandon Swick, Eric Swanson's Obsessed, with Eric Swanson and pretty obsessed with Misha Ferris. Now we'll talk about this other driver, two drivers, both who were in Team Throttle Monster here in just a moment. This past weekend, and DuQuoin and Oklahoma. As far as that, I think that is it. For Kenansville, for Outlaw, we had Mike Hawkins and Ty Cornelius Jr. I'm seeing more names pop up here. For Shark Attack in Levelland, Texas, we had Jerry Frudoster. I think I had his name last week too. I'm seeing something else that's new here, but I think that is it for the independent side. Now we'll finally move on to the jam. Now we didn't, before we started, we forgot to call who was gonna do what shows. Because sometimes we just do things right away. But I'll go ahead and start off with Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in the Paycom Center for shows this past weekend for Arena West. Now, one thing here is that Brandon Minson was out for the weekend, and in was Matt Cody, who drives Gravedigger in the International Tour, formerly drove Blue Thunder under the Black Stallion 2000 chassis back in the Triple Threat Series. But that. We'll go on to the results here. And quick correction, it was only 3 shows, because I don't see the Friday one here. So quickly going
on. Yeah, it was only 3.
All right. So quickly going on here for show 1, Saturday afternoon. Your racing winner was Dalton Widener and Jurassic Attack, defeating Matt Cody and Gravedigger. For skills, it is Matt Cody and Gravedigger. Donut competition goes to MJ Solario and El Toro Loco. For freestyle goes to Gravedigger, and ending the afternoon is Gravedigger with 28 points. Going on to show 2, Saturday evening. Your racing winner is Matt Cody and Gravedigger, defeating Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars. For skills, it was Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars, still keeping it hot on his feet, trying to give Gravedigger a hard time, even though Gravedigger is like 100 points ahead in the point series. Your donut competition win, it is Berto Trevino and Monster Mart Rottweiler, believing this is his second competition win ever. And then for freestyle,
it's the second donut.
And then for freestyle on show 2, it is the returning Ashley Sanford and Megalodon winning freestyle, but still the overall winner and beating Thunder Roars by 1 point. It is Matt Cody and Gravedigger. That is now 2 for 2 overalls. Now move on to the last show of the weekend, Sunday afternoon. For show 3, your racing winner was Dalton Widener and Jurassic Attack, defeating the other Dino, Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars. And then for skills, your winner is Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars once again. For donut, it goes to Dalton Widener and Jurassic Attack. So we're having a battle of dinos out here for the lead. And then for freestyle, once again, it is Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars. But for the overall, it is not a Gravedigger this time. This time, it was the Knoxville man, Dalton Widener, Jurassic Attack, defeating Thunder Roars by whooping 29 points. Thunder Roars was in second, but in third overall, it was Berto Trevino and Monster Mart Rottweiler. So I believe this had to be a great show. Seeing that Gravedigger was also apart from it being driven by Matt Cody, he finished 4th in the overall. And so that was West. And so we'll move on to Central here. From Cleveland, Ohio, in the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and I'll go ahead and take it off to Navajan.
That is right. Monster Jam returns to Cleveland, Ohio. Good old Cleveland, right? For Arena Championship Series Central. I believe. Arena Series East. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I got you. So 4 shows this weekend, starting off with timed racing on Friday night. Your timed racing winner is Zach Gerner in Wildside. Taking the skills competition win is Armando Castro in the El Toro Loco. Winning the donut competition this weekend was Wildside, Zach Gerner. Freestyle is won by Armando Castro, and by 1 point, El Toro Loco, Armando Castro gets the first overall event championship of the weekend. Your timed racing winner for Saturday afternoon. It is Mark Hall and the Raminator grabbing the win, getting under 10 seconds. The skills win goes to Wildside Zach Garner. And this time today, or that Saturday, it was the Skywheelie competition replacing Donuts. And the winner of that was Kristen Anderson at Gravedigger. Well, freestyle was won by Zach Garner, and he also got the overall event championship for that day. Going on to Saturday evening, your time racing winner, once again, Mark Hall in the Raminator, being bad fast. Your two-wheel skills winner is Kristen Anderson. The Sky Wheelie competition and freestyle competition, and the overall as well, goes to Armando Castro and El Toro Loco. The final show of the weekend, Sunday afternoon, the timed racing winner is Wildside Zach Garner. The skills competition and Sky Wheelie competition winner goes to Kristen Anderson and the Gravedigger. And your freestyle winner, as well as overall, is Zach Garner and Wildside. So this weekend, it was Armando Castro and Zach Garner splitting the overall events.
One thing to talk about here, one thing that we forgot to mention as well, is that Cody Saucier. This is the right one. So Cody Saucier took the weekend off as well, for family emergencies. And in comes Chelsea Van Cleve, also from the international tour, who drives names such as Blue Thunder, El Toro Loco, Dalmatian, I believe, who drove Dragon this past week.
Drove Zombie.
Oh yeah, that's right. And she drove for Cody this past weekend, and once we saw the news, we thought it was over.
It basically is.
But yeah, Chelsea came in to drive for Cody just for this weekend, I believe. But one thing we kind of did want to talk about here is that we did not, when we usually make our predictions for East, we always kind of usually talk about Kristen or Cody or Armando taking one of the overalls. This time, Armando and Zach Garner got 2 each this past weekend, which is awesome to see.
I believe I said Zach for one of them. Him grabbing 2 of them is really cool to see.
Yeah, always catching us by surprise. And now we'll finally move on to Arena Central. This time it is Central, not East. On from Worcester, Massachusetts, and the DCU Center. And now move it on to Door Z. Take it ahead.
Yes, DCU, Worcester, Massachusetts. Of course, I was there for the Saturday afternoon show. We'll go over that in a second. But first, we got the Friday evening show where bring out the brooms because Wes Anderson slept the entire show. And one thing to point out was they did donuts in the first show, and the last 3 shows they did Sky Wheelies. So on to the second show, the show that I went to. Weston takes home the racing and the skills competition. And then Brandon Mahan takes home the Sky Wheelie and the freestyle competition. But Weston and Anderson didn't place anything worse than second. Anything worse than second, and grabbed 30 points for the overall event championship. Moving on to show 3. Brandon Tulechka and Just Get Her Done 2 beats Brandon Mahan in the finals for racing. And then Weston took the rest of the show and the overall event championship. But now the Sunday afternoon show, things changed a bit. Just Get Her Done 2, Brandon Tulechka beats Brandon Mahan once again in the finals for racing. Weston takes the skills and the Sky Wheelie competition. Brandon Mahan takes home her second freestyle of the weekend, but taking home the overall event champion, 1 point apart from the top 3. Brana got 24, Weston got 25, and then Brandon Tulechka and Just Get Her Done 2 took home the final overall event championship with 26 points.
Now, I believe this had.
Yeah, Worcester was fun.
Now, I had to believe this is his first overall this season, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Just check real quick. And yes, that was his first.
All right, nice. And also, one thing to talk about here is that Jamie Sullivan came back after several weeks off of injury. She is back in the wheel of under domination, having to make up a lot of points. She did make it into the finals twice. Twice, and
Yeah.
we're seeing something at least. She did get taken out both rounds. She did get taken out both round ones on Sunday and Saturday night by Jessica Dentu and El Toro Loco. Uh, so Jamie Sullivan still has a lot of work to go, and in order if she wants to catch up, which at this point is just impossible. But we never know in Monster Jam. But that is
Yeah, for me being there at that second show, you could tell that she needed to get used to the truck a little bit after being out for 2 weeks and that injury. She wasn't really performing like she did that first month of this season.
And now another one thing I did want to point out, our good friend David, who we still dearly miss on the having not being on the show, was at Worcester as well. I I don't actually. This is I believe I don't even know what show was this. I believe Sunday.
I think he went to the Sunday.
Yeah, because I'm looking at his.
I believe so.
I'm looking at his any Monster Jam photos. Go give that a follow. I'm looking at his post right here, and I do believe that is Sunday because it was 4 days ago. But we missed that guy. Hopefully
Yeah, I have the full show on my YouTube for the Saturday afternoon.
All right, and like I said, we do miss David on here, so hopefully gets to come back some point. But other than that, we'll move it on to Anaheim, California, and who would like to do the honors for this
one? I guess I'll do it. Anaheim, California. I don't know if I've actually done Stadium West yet so far. I might have. I don't know. But we had 2 shows, for time this season. Totally. They're never at this show. Okay. Well, for Saturday evening, Ryan Anderson beats Camden Murphy in the finals of racing. Ryan takes home the skills. And then Camden Murphy takes home the freestyle competition. And Ryan almost completely swept the show, was missing 1 point for a clean sweep. And then Too Tall Dave Alford right there in second with 30 points. Shout out to him. And for the second show, Ryan, they forgot to change the script here because the final 4 in racing are literally the exact same, minus they were facing different people. But Ryan Anderson defeats Camden Murphy once again. Adam Anderson takes home the skills competition win. And oh man, who is going to stop this guy right here? This is his 4th freestyle win. He has more freestyle wins than anyone on his tour now. I think he has now double the amount than anyone else has. Joe Foley and El Toro Loco with another freestyle win. But Ryan Anderson takes home the overall, and he is just extending his lead in the point standings now.
That is right. And seeing Joe Foley take another freestyle win, 4th weekend straight, is really awesome to see. He took one in Houston, San Diego, Anaheim twice. But Joe Foley, every time he gets, I believe he's just getting better at freestyle. He's getting more comfortable. The fact that it's not under Axe and is now borrowing a Feld identity. But I think Joe Foley could probably get another freestyle win this Sunday in Detroit. I think he's going for 5 again, but it's just really cool to see Joe, taking a couple wins. Apart from the usuals that we're getting with Ryan and Adam, Camden finally getting one, we're still not seeing winners out of Corey, Jim. I don't know, even Chris too, but this tour every once in a while gets different winners, and that's the best part we get to see. But other than that was Anaheim and Ford finally the last time because oh my God, we've been there almost what felt like an eternity. Now I did want to talk about before we move on to Minneapolis. I did want to talk about Anaheim and the Sunday freestyle show, we had a lot of wheels flying off. Starting off with Gravedigger, hard landing onto one of the I believe onto one of the berms, and the right front wheel literally comes flying off. Showing just the moments, but we had a lot of wheels flying off here. I believe Avenger also had one fly off. We had a cool save from Chris Kohler and Monster Mutt. Uh, yeah, Anaheim. I think they got a better show here on Sunday. Now, I do love it when Instagram won't load the whole entire the thing here. So thanks for that website, Instagram. But yeah, wheels are flying off in Anaheim this time. Also, the other thing I did kind of want to bring up was uh the brand a totally brand new, or should I say remastered, color scheme that we've seen from Avenger this time. It is the split body from a past World Finals, and that is with the half orange and half green. Now, I did want to talk about it, so I'll start off with Nofijin. What did you think on the split body Avenger?
I really loved it. It's kind of like a mix of the past and present. A lot of us remember the split paint job from World Final 6. And he added a little bit of modern design to it, like with how the font is displayed for Avenger, the skull on the side of the doors, and I really love it.
Now, Dorsey, what did you think on that split body?
Definitely one of the best. I think one of my favorite paint schemes that Jim has run. An old scheme returning, like what Jeremy said. Had the two colors, the dark green, the orange, and then changed it up a bit for a modern style. And everyone loves this scheme. Spin Master even made a die cast. So it's cool to see it once again.
Yeah, I thought it was really awesome. But that wasn't the only scheme that made its return this past weekend. But now we'll finally move on from Anaheim for the last time over to Minneapolis for the first time this season. We had two shows this past weekend, and also our friends Zachary and Caden were both there. Now go ahead and take it off to Nofijin.
That's right. Monster Jam returns to the U.S. Bank Stadium, home of the Minnesota Vikings, but this weekend, home of Stadium Series East and home of the return of Max D. Fire. And for the first time in competition, it is ran on a CRD with Colton Eichelberger behind the wheel. Starting off with Saturday evening results. Your racing finals is JCB Digatron and Tristan England defeating Cole Bernard and Black Pearl to win the racing competition. Your two-wheel skills winner and your freestyle winner and overall event winner is Tyler Meniga and Gravedigger. How about that? Moving on to Sunday afternoon, it is John Gordon and Bad Company defeating Bryce Kinney and the Great Clip Small Warrior to win racing. And your skills winner and your freestyle winner and overall winner is Tyler Meniga. And that's Minneapolis.
Wow. It was cool to see John Gordon finally get that race and win. He made it to the finals so many times, specifically against Tyler, and lost all of them. But now he finally got that race and win.
Heck yeah.
A couple of pointers here too. On Saturday night, Cole Bernard and Black Pearl attempted another reverse backflip, but did not get it and landed straight on the cage. So he was out for Sunday afternoon and passed the driving duties over to Mike Pagliarulo. So we had all three Pagliarulos finally run a show together, despite not being all on the same team trucks. But we did finally get all Pagliarulos run a show together, which is awesome to see. Also, did want to talk about... Go ahead.
I just think it's just funny to add one thing about Mike Pagliarulo. He did really well in Black Pearl. He got 19 points in the overall, and it's because he didn't drive a Team Foolery truck. Or Tomfoolery. I always say Team Foolery. Yeah, Tomfoolery.
He beat Max D just 1 point above on Sundays overall. And I actually did want to talk about Max D Fire. It is also one of my favorite bodies ever, right next to Max D Black. And I'll say this though, I know we've been getting all the bodies lately without defenders. This is the one they should have brought with defenders on, because Max D Fire with defenders on did complete its own. Like without defenders, it just it was the same Max D Fire, but it looked a little bit off. Despite it was on a CRD this time, but defender should have been on for this one. I just should have. But also talk about Max D Fire. We'll talk about some more Max D Fire later on today. But Max D Fire back for this, probably the last time ever, is just awesome to see. One of my favorites. Unfortunately, not on the Woman, but is on a CRD, which we actually did get some Steel Titans vibes for there. And that was also Colt Nykelberger's second time driving Max D Fire. Another thing here, don't believe there's anything else to talk about for Stadium East other than JCB Digatron. It did stay in second, both overalls, and that is awesome to see. Tristan England is starting to play catch up with Tyler Meninga. But yeah, I think that is all we have.
We lost. He did lose some ground, unfortunately, because Tyler swept the overalls again.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler Meninga cannot be stopped. We'll talk about some more Gravedigger drivers here, because we do have one who has all his gear ready. We just don't know where he's heading. But other than that, that was Minneapolis for Stadium Series East. Now we'll move on to the shows. Actually, before we move on to the shows we have next week, we'll move on to the points we have from this past weekend, which is week 7. So a lot of things happened for sure. Now I'll try to get here as quick as possible. I am in a different recording room, so it is not easy this time. So updated.
If you want me to do it, because I already have it all out.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so updated points, because I always have my stat chart over here. And we're going to start with the arenas. You do top 5, right? And that's it?
Yeah.
Just do the top 5. Kristen Anderson right now still leading her tour, but somehow is still behind Armando in the power rankings. I still don't know what the hell they're doing. No one knows. No one knows the decisions, but Kristen Anderson's in the lead with 530. Armando Castro and El Toro's in second with 509. Zach Garner and Wildside moves up to third place with a phenomenal weekend with 450. Well, this past weekend, of course, Chelsea Van Cleve drove Dragon, and it hurt Cody a lot. He is down to fourth with 436. And fifth is Chad Tingler and Overboard with 310. Moving on to Arena West. In first place, Brandon Vincent. Of course, Matt Cody drove for him last weekend, did pretty well. 706 points for Gravedigger. Man, over 100 points back is Tony Oaks and Thunder Roars with 589. Only 5 points behind him, though, is Dalton Weiner and Jurassic Attack with 584. MJ Solorio and El Toro Loco with 467. And fifth is Ashley Sanford and Megalodon with 431. Arena Central, man, Weston Anderson, huge lead right now, almost 200 points ahead now from second with 711 points. Second is Fernando Martinez with 532. Brandon Mahan and Scooby-Doo with 500. And then fourth is Brandon Tuchka, Just Get Her Done 2 with 487. And then fifth is Jamie Sullivan with 430. And now for the stadium shows. Stadium East. First place is Tyler Meninga and Gravedigger with 350. I believe that is 14 points behind. I don't have the minus points, trying to do math in my head. 14 points behind is Tristan England and the Digatron with 336. And third place is Max D, Colton Eichelberger with 283. Todd LeDuc and Megalodon right behind him with 279. And in fifth place is Bryce Kenny in the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior with 265. And now finally, Stadium West. Ryan is carrying away with this tour now. First place, of course, Ryan Anderson with 389. Adam Anderson moves up one position from last weekend with 335, but only 1 point behind him is Camden Murphy with 334. Barry Musauer is in fourth with 283, and Corey Rumble Megalodon is in fifth with 271. And that right there is the points after week 7.
Yeah, somewhat crazy competition. Not an entirely best weekend. We still, apart from Matt Cody, Tyler Miniga, and Ryan Anderson taking digger overalls, we did see some uprising out of Armando Castro and Zach Gardner. But other than that is the updated point series we have from week 7. Now we'll start looking into what we have this upcoming weekend for week 8. Like of course we're gonna like always we're gonna lay down our predictions. Starting off with, give me one here. Like I said, this is all different for me. So we have 4 shows so we have 4 tours this upcoming weekend. Finally, we're out of California for once. We're still in Pennsylvania for one. And also, we have 4 tours running this upcoming weekend because Arena Central is not running this weekend. They have an off week. So starting off with Wichita, Kansas. Now, the one thing I did want to mention here before we get there is the fact that James Calhoun is no longer with Team Throttle Monster. Now, we don't know why, but unfortunately, he is not driving anymore, and taking over for him is Joe Uri, who is now making his return to Monster Jam with an independent team. Also, talking about some Team Throttle news, taking over for what was Joe Uri's truck, recently leaving Triple B Motorsports, is Logan Tweedy, who is the former driver of, I believe, Barefoot and Carolina Crusher. Will now be driving Kamikaze with Tim Hall Jr. driving Jurassic Attack and several independent promotions. But that is the driver updates we have. So Joe Uri is now back in Monster Jam. Logan Tweedy now in a new team. We'll see what the future holds for James Calhoun. Hopefully, will see him driving back with DCT Power Sports with Dirt Crew. We'll see. We don't know yet. But other than that, so Wichita, Kansas, we have 3 shows this weekend from the 24th through the 25th. And so we'll go ahead and make our predictions for 3 shows, and I'll go ahead and start. So as far as, Matt Cody, we don't know where Matt Cody's going. We don't know if he's going to drive for Brandon Vincent again this weekend or for someone else. But if that is the case, I think Tony Oaks and Dalton Weiner are going to take 1 each. As far for Gravedigger, we'll take 1 as well. So go ahead. I'll take it off and pass it over to you now.
All right. So I'm going to go with Gravedigger getting 2 overall event wins this weekend, and then Knoxville man Dalton Weiner will get the 3rd one.
Now, Dorsey, your predictions.
Man, it's just crazy just looking at this. Brandon Vincent having 18 overalls, and then Tony Oaks has only gotten 1 this season. Man, Tony Oaks has to get another one. I think he's gonna, I think he's gonna grab 2. I think he's gonna go off this weekend. He said before this tour even started that he feels like this is the one, which right now looks like that Gravedigger truck is running away with it. But I'm gonna say Tony Oaks grabs 2, and 1 goes to the Gravedigger truck without drivers in it.
And so next up, we're going over to Stadium Arena East in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and the PPL Center. And hopefully this weekend we'll see Cody Saucier back. We probably will see him back. Same lineup as ever. This is for the points. We have 5 shows this upcoming weekend. So we have 1 Friday, 2 Saturday, and then 2 Sunday. So I'll go ahead and start off here for the five overall predictions. I think we're gonna see Armando take three. We're gonna see Zach Garner take one, and then Kristen Anderson will probably take one. What do you think, Noff?
I think that Kristen, Zach Garner, and Cody Soce will take one overall event win, and then Armando Castro will get two.
All right, and then Dorsey, your thoughts.
I'm gonna say Cody grabs two. I think he's gonna go hard after what happened last weekend. Armando grabs one, and then Kristen grabs one, and Zach Garner grabs one.
All right, that is the two arena series we'll have this upcoming weekend. Now we'll move it on to the Stadium Championship Series East in Miami, Florida, the home of the Miami Marlins, who just signed to a 1-year deal. Tim Anderson, who got his who got his lights knocked out last season. So in Lone Depot Park, we have two shows, one Saturday, one Sunday. Now I'll go ahead and once again start it off. I think at this point, so I know Florida isn't always nice to Tyler. He did take one in Tampa, but Tristan also, no, actually, no. Tristan took one, while as to Todd also took one. But Florida, we'll see how Miami is to Tyler this time. I think he's going to take one. As for another overall, I think Tristan is also going to get one. So I think Tyler and Tristan are the two getting the overalls.
Why do we always think?
All right.
We have our expectations so high.
Yeah. So Nafajen, what are your overall predictions?
I'm going to say that Tyler wins one of the overall championships, and then the other will be won by Tyler. He's going to win them both. Just embrace it.
Now, Dorsey, I know you're the biggest hater, so we'll see what you get.
Yeah, so just add one thing. Of course, Cole Bernard will probably not be driving this weekend. I think it said the next 2 weeks or something like that. I don't think we know who the driver is, but I think it's safe to assume it. But we don't know. Anyways, that doesn't mean anything with the overall. I think since seems like every time I say Tyler gets one and another driver gets one, Tyler gets both. And then right when I said Tyler gets both, his truck breaks down. So I'm going to say Tyler gets both and see how good my luck is.
Yeah, all we need is that he needs a little starter issues for his truck, or throw some sand in the motor, or perform a Black Pearl in intros. But yeah, we're trying to curse Gravedigger guy here, okay? We're trying. So that is.
This man's gotten 10 overalls already.
Yeah, like 10 out of the 13 or 14 there is.
Wait, let me see real quick. He's gotten 10 out of 12.
Oh my god. Yeah, this man's unstoppable. A lot of people like to call him legendary, the GOAT and everything. He is not there yet. He's not. I don't know. We could make the same argument for Patrick Mahomes. They're not there yet. And they're still.
He's the GOAT he's the GOAT for specifically this season. Not all the time.
You could say for both respective eras they're the GOATs, but in general, I don't think they are. So now we'll move on to Stadium Championship Series West, going up north to Detroit, Michigan, and I believe Michael Barth, the SDSL owner, will be going there. I believe a few of the BMP guys will be going there. For Ford Field this upcoming weekend, we have also two shows. And so I'm going to go ahead and start off with the overall predictions. I did put one prediction over in the BMP Discord. I believe Ryan Anderson will be getting one. But for the second one, I believe Adam Anderson might get it. Nafajen, who do you think will get it?
I am going to say Ryan Anderson will definitely win one. And for the second one, I'm thinking about going very stupid crazy here. But give me Joe Foley to win his first overall.
Oh, damn.
It's got to happen. I mean, he's been on a roll in freestyle, and He's got to win it overall soon.
Right, and then Zach,
Man,
your
oh
prediction?
man, because I was gonna go crazy as well. I'll save that for my second one. Um, I'm just looking at the overalls here. We've had 13 shows, and Ryan has won 7 of the 13 overalls. That's basically half of them. So, for my prediction, I think Camden Murphy is going to grab 1. And then for my second one, I think David Alford, Too Tall, is going to grab the other one. He was close both shows last weekend. He came in second in one, and I believe he came in like third in the other for the overall. So I think he's going to have a lot of momentum coming into Detroit.
All right, so I think we're gonna see some crazy action here from Detroit. And that is all the jam shows we have this upcoming weekend. We have once again, we have 4 tours running, and we'll take a look at the other independent shows or promoters we have this upcoming weekend. Starting off with Monster Truck, Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live, once again over the pond in Manchester, United Kingdom. And then over here at the States, they'll be in Edinburgh, Texas. And then this is a promotion that I'm not too familiar of, and it goes by TNT. This is not, the TNT Unfinished Business by Wars, but this is, I think, a whole different promotion. We'll figure it out next week. But they will be in Hattiesburg, oh, brother, Mississippi, I believe, MS abbreviation.
Yes.
Okay, so Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and the
Yeah.
lineup will include Fatal Attraction, driven by Jeff Murphy, Higher Education by Chris DeHoyos, Monster Patrol with Travis Schweizer, Prime Time with Justin Murphy, Taurus under Steve Thompson, and then USA 1 with Rodney Tweedy, and then the South Carolina Monster Truck Madness in Travelers Rest, South Carolina. What a name. Aftershock under a TBD name. We also have Culture Shock with Daniel Ames, Old Red Truck with Jeffrey Fielding, Temporarily Insane with Donnie Hebert, and Virginia Giant with Clef Vowel. And then for WGAS, I don't remember what this name was, but they will be in Indio, California. Playing for Keeps with Tony Canito, Scatter with Lee Plato, Skull Crusher with Shane Plato, Survivor with Ryan Fraser, and Terminator with Tyler Rome. And then the 2X Monster Trucks Live Tour in Santa Maria, California. Bounty Hunter under Rob Potter, Hot Tamale with Mike Brister, Scarlet Bandit with Don Crean, and then Shark Bite with Dan Dahlgren. And then Monster Truck Wars, they'll have 2 shows, one in Marion, Ohio. Muddy Girl Camouflage with Ann Brode, Outlaw with Mike Hawkins, Shark Attack with Kayla Youngstrom, and T-Rex with Aaron Basil. And then in Del Rio, Texas, we will have Preston Collins driving Outlaw, Jerry Foster and Shark Attack, Adam Wilson and Sheriff, and Devin Jones with T-Rex. And then we also have the Monster Truck Insanity Tour starting their season in Ada, Oklahoma. And this is the first show that Bigfoot will be running, and they'll be driven under Josh Baumgartner, driver of the Mechanical Mischief, who will be using the Bigfoot name for Insanity Tour. We will also have Against the Grain with Brad Shepard, Predator with Alan Pizzo, Raminator, not Mark Hall, Dan Agosh will be driving Raminator, and then Redneck Rampage with the Gravedigger driver of all time, Rod Schmidt. And then the MAP Motorsports will be in Waco, Texas. Blockhead driven by Darren Basil. Dirt Crew with Jerry Beck. Dirt Crew Dozer with Downtown Jack Brown. Rat Attack with Jacob Ladwig. Tailgater with Trent Montgomery this weekend. And then War Wizard with RJ Turner. And then the Monster Truck Nitro Tour in Redmond, Oregon. Starting off with Enforcer with Brandon Galley. Jurassic Attack with Tim Hall Jr. Kamikaze with the brand new Team Throttle teammate Logan Tweedy. Playing for Keeps with Tony Canito. Hold on, is he in 2? He is. That is crazy. Okay. Hold on, because I'm seeing this as well. So Indio also has shows that happened just right now. They had one on the 21st, which was Wednesday, and the 22nd which was today. So Playing for Keeps is pulling double duties this week. Just finishing up one show in California, or in Indio, California, and then we'll be going up a couple hours up in Oregon for Nitro. So Playing for Keeps with Tony Canito, and then Wicked Strong with Jacob Galley. And then they will also be in West Monroe, Louisiana, with Barely Tame under an unknown driver we don't know yet, Carolina Crusher with Cameron Tweedy, Rampage with Tommy Veralone, Shredder Monster Truck with Zane Ritu, and then Stinger Unleashed with ZJ Ritu. And then we also have the return of the point series for the All-Star Monster Truck Tour in Winder, Georgia. Starting off with Colossus with Elia Miller, Crazy Train Triton Robbins, Little Miss Dangerous Athena Kozel playing Crazy Montana Robbins, and then the Zimmer duo of Terminal Velocity and Uproar. And that is all the shows we have this upcoming weekend for week 7. I did not even know we had one already happening just recently with WGAS, so I guess they just finished up. But other than that, that is the shows we have entirely for week 8. So that's what are your guys' thoughts onto the upcoming weekend?
It's definitely going to be a weekend. I will say that.
Yeah.
All right, and I believe that is it from us here in STSL Off the Track. So the episode's starting to close out here. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ads. Door Z, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Door Z, 10 2 R's on Instagram and YouTube. I just went to the Worcester show last week. You can find the full show there, and also the interviews.
And now, Not Virginia, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at a stadium show near you next to the Morgan & Morgan backflip ramp, doing backflips for the people. Just
Man
kidding,
thinks
you
he's
can
Bernard
find me.
White.
Yeah, or Mike Christensen, who did the backflip sidewalls last year at Detroit, and he's coming back to Detroit this weekend. Maybe we'll see some more. But anyways, you can find me at Nalphagen on Instagram and YouTube.
And then for your host with the most, you can find me at Lane_Flores2. At Lane Flores Mura. I'm still uploading some footage. Denver, I'm almost done with the Denver one. And also don't forget to follow STSL Off the Track on Instagram. And then don't forget to follow the main page, Steel Time Sports League, on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Then don't forget to also pick up some merch that will be provided on the links down below. And don't forget to listen to STSL Off the Track on Spotify and YouTube, and Spotify for podcasters. And that is it from us here. That was week 7. Now, before I close it off, Door Z, you started it. Would you like to close it as well?
You know what? I was thinking of a funny outro, and I think I got it. Thanks, everyone, for watching week 7 of the STSL Off the Track. Week 8 is coming up. We got, of course, one tour not going, but it's still going to be a blast. Thanks for showing up at my door, and you can get the hell out of here now.
That's how we like to respect our fans.
Maybe I should have said that.
Well, we'll see.
Well, I didn't swear. I said hell. Whatever.
Well, I mean, David's not here, so he would have said something worse, but we will all see you guys next week.
Didn't we let David start one of these before about